So I found the most obnoxious NBA diets to have ever existed. This is what NBA players actually eat. Individual success in the NBA is what some would call a touchy subject, because the impact a player has on the league is dependent on so many factors. But sometimes it's ultimately a player's diet which makes or breaks him. Just ask Dwight Howard. I mean, you don't have to, because I'll spill the beans right here. See, Howard maintained, quite literally, a truly horrendous diet until relatively recently, and for a pretty damn long time, he got away with it just fine. You know, just like Robin Hood had a bow, Dwight's equipped with a chronic sweet tooth, and especially obsessed with Skittles, chocolate bars, honey buns, and cream pies of all sorts. He even claims he ate every candy a human can think of and said himself that his house is basically a gas station. Weird flex, but okay, I'll take it. And his problems weren't just with sugar either. Thank God, I've almost listed him on my sugar daddy list. Howard claims that one year he ate McDonald's before every game, with his go-to order being 2 double cheeseburgers, large fries, small fries, a strawberry chocolate milkshake, a large Coke, and cream pie. I'm kidding, they don't offer those at McDonald's. Or do they? But just when he was living his best life, enjoying cream pies, all types of candy, and filling up his Conquest Knight XV Mega SUV, that was hard to say, with gallons of gas at his home gas station, he ran into a wall, got a back surgery, and struggled to overcome it. And then, an angel from the sky came to save him. And it was Dr. Kate Shannon, the Lakers team nutritionist back in 2012, who suspected the big man's diet was contributing to his physical problems. What's more, Howard has been diagnosed with dysesthesia, the same nerve dysfunction she's seen in patients with pre-diabetes, after the doc found out he had been eating about 24 chocolate bars worth of sugar on a daily basis, possibly for as long as a decade. She told Dwight to cut the sugar, and after he did that, the weird nerve dysfunction and tingling in his legs and fingers faded. Oh, and he also embarked on a 30-day program, which involved eating only 1 meal per day, that is, a healthy one of course. He swapped out McDonald's for lean chicken and fish, kale juice, and beet juice, making him the second most famous Dwight, with a taste for beets. After some time, he claimed that his body felt different, his exhaustion levels dropped, and was able to play longer and more efficiently. Yeah, no dookie, man. But even though Howard may seem like a one-of-a-kind specimen, this is actually far from the truth. While everyone has a guilty pleasure and likes to indulge now and then, Joel Embiid used to do things a bit differently. When Joel arrived in the NBA, he used to have a worse diet than you could ever imagine. Even the Jayhawks coach himself called Embiid the least mature eater he had ever encountered. He gave a pretty specific explanation for the situation and called him the type of dude who would come to your house and go right to the plate of brownies and take the plate home, and that would be all that he would eat. Now, you might think that in the NBA his habits got better. They didn't. While the Philadelphia 76ers tried to set him up for success, their efforts were in vain. Their training staff was so concerned about what he was eating that they decided to stack the refrigerator in his downtown hotel residence each week with healthy food. In theory, that works, right? You get hungry, sprint to the fridge, open it, see only healthy food, slam the refrigerator door back and eat the door instead of what's inside. But what actually happened was that when a staff member went to restock the fridge each week, basically everything was uneaten and unopened, and they were throwing out the fruits and the veggies every week. But that's okay, he was just being self-sufficient and bought his own fruit and veggies. No, that wasn't the case. When the team asked to see Embiid's room service bill, they found out that most days he was ordering junk food, along with his signature beverage, a pitcher of Shirley Temples. Oh, and Embiid also was frequently seen feasting on chicken fingers and hot dogs at and after games, cause man can never have enough chicken and sausages. Now, since 2015, he cleaned up his diet a bit and lost some weight, but he's still a big man with a big diet. Now, it's understandable that some of the average to elite level players are lacking on their diets, but the king himself, the holy grail of the NBA, LeBron James, must have his diet perfectly in check. There's no doubt about it. No need to check that. But I decided to sin a little and still do some research. And apparently, according to one of his former teammates, King James has a pretty bad diet.
Cause y'all know what today is! Taco Tuesday! What is it, Bronny? It's Taco Tuesday!
See, beyond James's physical talent, a large part of his success has been his relationship with Mike Mancias. The personal trainer has been with LeBron for virtually his entire professional career, helping him with everything from his diet and mental state to his pure physical fitness. During their time together, Mancias has tweaked LeBron's diet depending on what the forward needs. James, however, can't seem to get away from some specific indulgences. Tristan Thompson, who played alongside LeBron in Cleveland, said that he has the worst freaking diet ever. If you ask him what he eats for breakfast, he has like 5 French toasts, drowned in syrup with strawberries and bananas. Then he has like a 4-egg omelet, and then he goes and just freaking dunks on somebody. It doesn't even make sense. LeBron doesn't stop once breakfast is done, however. He eats desserts with every meal. He loves sweets. So basically, he mostly eats desserts and French toasts. It's crazy how his body just burns it. That's what Thompson said. But believe it or not, that meal plan might make sense. Upon first glance, it's hard to disagree with Thompson's assessment. While French toast and dessert don't seem like the healthiest meal plan for an average person, it actually makes sense for someone like LeBron James, who's pushing his body to the limit virtually every day. His trainer said that it's a very high caloric intake. The key thing for him is balance. He eats about 5 times a day, a traditional breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and of course a couple of snacks in between those meals. We might not be able to eat or play basketball like LeBron James, but we can still take a lesson from his diet. Once you find something that works for you, stay consistent with it, because we're all different after all. And speaking about different, when it comes to eating, Derrick Rose has definitely heard this word numerous times. Since back in 2008, he almost missed out on the title game against Kansas with an acute stomach ache, as he called it. But what could be the cause for the sad, you might wonder? Well, his addiction to candy. While NBA defenders try desperately to keep Rose from the basket, the chef and his team work as hard as they can on keeping him away from, well, junk food. Everyone's got their poison, and his, as he claims, is sugar. Rose has been a candy lover for as long as he can remember. When his sweet tooth became public, Skittles installed a personalized vending machine in his house over the summer. While Rose was appreciative of the gesture, he had to smile and shake his head when he started discussing it. Even he claims that that wasn't good, and that he doesn't know why they gave him that. You know how on Halloween, back when you were little, your mom always told you don't eat candy until she checks it? Well, Rose was a type of dude that was constantly under the temptation of eating them on the way to people's houses, but was luckily always scared he'd get hurt and never did it. He was a true candy veteran, eating every single candy he could find. His mom used to hide them from him, but as you can imagine, that didn't always help. He was so used to it, he could just eat a bucket full of candy and then go right to sleep. That's how bad it was. While Skittles and Gummy Bears were his absolute go-to, he'll eat anything. Anything but chocolate. Who doesn't like chocolate, am I right? Do you like chocolate? Christmas is around the corner, and the Christmas tree is waiting, dude. So are the gifts, and if the Santa sees you're subscribed to the channel, there's an even bigger chance you'll get what you want. Plus a chocolate. That's a scientifically proven fact, go check it. So, in case you haven't already, do yourself a favor and click that Santa colored button down below.